Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Now today's first story is titled, Am I the Arsehole Here for Wanting Separation and Co-Parenting Instead of Working on My Marriage? When my husband, 29 male, and I, 27 female, decided to have a kid, I thought we had a happy marriage and a financially stable future. My pregnancy was high risk, and with the health complications, I was going to end up using a good chunk of my medical leave before the kid was born. So together we decided that I'd quit my job and be a stay-at-home mum for a few years, and then go back into the workforce. After our son was born, I had PPD and severe anxiety, had complications in recovery, and no help from family. I am low contact from my family, and my mother-in-law had passed away, and father-in-law had no interest in helping. My husband expected me to be a full housewife as soon as we got home with the baby and stop helping with anything home or baby related because it was my job now. I was lucky to get involved with a mums group that helped me a lot because otherwise I was very lonely and stressed. When our son was 10 months old, I saw some messages on my husband's phone indicating that he was having an affair. I don't know when it started, but a lot of his working late was because of that. At that time, my mental health was not good, and I became scared he'd divorce me and take my baby. My reaction wasn't even anger at him. It was as if my love for him had disappeared and was replaced by abject fear. I didn't confront him, and he didn't realize that I knew. I ignored it and tried to deal with all my issues myself while living in a constant fear of getting kicked out without my son. I know that wasn't a reasonable assumption and I have rights, but I can't explain why my head was stuck in that mode back then. I moved into my son's room, separated myself from my husband, but kept being a good stay-at-home mum. The sad thing is that he didn't even realize that I wasn't living in our room anymore. He got home-cooked meals, a clean house, and got to play with our son whenever he was home. He didn't care about me at all. When our son was 2, I got a job and needed to put him in daycare. My husband was opposed to that because he liked how things were and wasn't willing to pay for it. I went ahead with getting employed, and the majority of my paycheck goes to pay for the daycare. The rest is my car payment and a very little bit for savings. Over the last few weeks, my husband has been home more and acting depressed. I found out that his affair partner has dumped him. Now he's acting like the past 3 years were normal and wants intimacy and regular relations with me. I told him that our relationship was over when he stepped out of his marriage and he can go and start a different affair if the first one didn't pan out. He got angry about that and accused me of being a cold-hearted gold digger. He put me through agony and hell, and I am here because I love my son and want to be with him every day. Not 50% of custody, so I am dealing. But he believes he's the wrong party here. I've become accustomed to the situation, and I'm okay with us living separately like roommates and raising our son. I don't care who he dates or loves or fucks. If things change down the line when my son is going to school and is less dependent on me, or if I fall in love with someone, then yeah, I'd file for divorce. If he wants a divorce, that's okay too. I've consulted with a divorce lawyer already, and I know I'll get half of the equity in our house, half of his 401k, and either child support or shared expenses into our son's needs. Living in this house with our son is more convenient for me right now. He's arguing that because I didn't say anything when I found out about the affair, I have no right to bring it up now that it is over. My parents agree with him and say that since I chose to ignore the affair, it has no bearing on our relationship now. My husband wants to go into marriage counseling, but I don't see a point to that. The only 2 options acceptable to me are the status quo as is now or divorce. Does that make me an arsehole? Now, we do have an update and some comments in a moment, but yeah, immediately I think the obvious thing that I'm going to say is divorce this guy, and your parents backing him up as well. Yeah, I wouldn't want much to do with them. Them telling their daughter that they should stay with a man who cheated on them. What the fuck is that logic? And I can totally understand OP wanting what's best for their child, but and it's like always, it's very easy for me to say outside the situation, questioning, is that really best for your child? Because If you was to stay in this house where you're not having a relationship, you don't really like this guy, he's treating you like absolute shit. These are the things that you want your child to see. Of course, 50% custody is going to be difficult as well, but he's treated you like crap and you simply don't deserve that. And your child will pick up on these little things that do happen in your house. We've seen it time and time again in these stories. And you simply deserve so much better. But Glittering Job 7996 says, not the arsehole. Please divorce him. Him and your parents are arseholes. I can't believe your parent would want you to stay with someone who cheated. Opie says, I am low contact with my parents because they are like this. I reached out to them and I know they are not right, but it's hard to ignore doubts. Would I be morally wrong if I stick around for another few years so I have 100% custody and also comfortable living while my baby is so little? He's saying that me not confronting him about this affair and wanting to be a co-parent, not a wife, makes me a gold digger. Pretty Lucia replies that saying your strength and focus on your child's well-being are commendable. You endured challenges and betrayal, and your decision to maintain the status quo or pursue divorce is entirely justified. Your resilience doesn't make you an arsehole, it makes you a dedicated parent. Real Difficulty says, please divorce that man, he's the arsehole. Opie says, I've looked into it, but it's such a messy process, and I don't even have enough time to sleep. On top of that, the complication of finding another place to live. It doesn't benefit me, I think, to do that right now. But if he does all the work, then I'll just sign the paperwork, with my lawyer of course. But starting it all myself feels daunting. Illustrator Slow replies to OP saying, you can't safely be roommates with someone who is angry with you. He's going to start bullying you back into the box he created for you before you know it. And this is not what your child should be learning about relationships. You fought so hard to get back to work and get your own money in your pocket to improve your self-image. Don't throw all that hard work away now. You will chip away at it very, very easily. The model of co-parenting from one home is only really achievable for people who still like each other as friends, but have no romantic feelings for each other left. You don't want to date him and you don't even like him, and he doesn't want to date you and he doesn't like you either. Your child will realize this, but they won't realize it's not normal to dislike your spouse. This will be your child's normal. It's the baseline for which all their adult relationships will be formed. If you want your child to eventually have a marriage full of love and respect, this is not the way to go about it. So, around a month later after that post, OP came in with her update and says, we have been having non-stop arguments. I tried disengaging and grey rocking, but that didn't help. He swings between love bombing and being around all the time, to yelling and raging at me. I agreed to couples counselling with a goal of having a better co-parenting arrangement. He told the counsellor he still wants the marriage to work out. We had some proper organised discussions, so that was useful. We were both asked to lay out our resentments. Mine was the years-long affair, obviously. I don't think anything beyond that needs to be said, but of course there's the neglect, the lack of help, the absence from home, and that I have to pay for our son's daycare without any contribution from him. His list of resentments were a doozy. He says that I ruined his experience of becoming a father because I was difficult and neurotic. My painful pregnancy and medical complications were unnecessary drama to him. When we agreed that I'd be a stay-at-home mum till our son started school, he was envisioning a picture of a perfect home with a beautiful wife and a child who catered to him. He's upset the reality was nothing like that and is convinced that I tricked him. He's a selfish idiot, but he was also encouraged and enabled by people around him who talked this up, including my parents. I've always known that my parents didn't love me much, but I've come to realize that they resent me and look down on me. The first year of our son's life, he was a bit sickly, creamy and had acid reflux, so was clingy to me. He resents me for that too. Now that son's a healthy toddler that can run around and throw ball, he's more interested in engaging with him. The whole thing was a pretty painful exercise for me. I restarted my own individual therapy. I had made myself numb to his actions. I grew up that way thanks to my neglectful parents. I was ignoring issues to focus on my son, but my husband did a good job of opening up all the scabs. I learned a lot more than I wanted to about his affair partner too. Now that I am physically recovered, lost a lot of weight, ironically from stress, and look well put together, I am good enough to be his partner again. Anyway, I filed for divorce. I think it'll take a year and then some for it to go through. I'll stay here and not move out till we sell the house and divide assets." Gwen asks Opie a question after that, says, "Good job, and my nosy ass is so curious what your couples counsellor said to all of his BS." Opie says, "Our counsellor tries to put everything as a question instead of making statements. At one point, he asked him why he thinks my mother, who only saw me twice throughout my pregnancy, has a better understanding of my medical needs than the OBGYN who was treating me. He kept arguing that I was exaggerating the doctor's concern, even though I had the printed notes of the diagnosis and doctor recommendations. My mother has a long history of avoiding doing anything for me by being dismissive, so things affecting me are never important enough or problematic enough to involve any work from her. My husband knows she's like this, but still ran with it. See, even your mother thinks you are making things up." And a final comment with response from Tiamat Fire and Ice, who says, "Wow, how dare you have a difficult pregnancy despite your poor husband. The man is crazy. That's the worst case of narcissistic main character syndrome I think I've ever read about. People don't get sick because of him, they just get sick. And he thinks you caused the baby to get sick too. He's really imbuing godlike powers into you, isn't he? I rarely say this, but you definitely should divorce him. His egg is cracked. I'm only sorry he has to be around your son because I don't think he's going to be a good influence. It's good that you started therapy for yourself, individually, because you deserve to have a loving husband down the road, but I'm concerned about how you choose men. I mean, your current husband is so out there that I don't get how you didn't see him coming from a mile away. Sometimes people pick spouses who are like their parents, even if that parent was abusive in some way. I hope you get to a place where you find a good guy because you deserve it. By the way, what did your couples therapist say about your husband's list of grievances? Hope you took him to task for the selfish load of garbage it is." Opie responds and first quotes the last comment and says, "And he thinks you caused the baby to get sick too," and then says, "No, it was more like he thought the baby wanting to be with me, not reaching out for him, was something I was training him to do. I followed certain method to hold our son right after feedings to minimize discomfort from his GERD symptoms, and his dad just wouldn't get the hang of it. But obviously the baby wants to be the one giving him comfort versus the dad who wanted to bounce him and worsen his gastro pains. But my husband was determined to find fault, so that has to be my fault, not the lack of care from him." And quotes the comment again and says, "Me, your current husband is so out there, I don't get how you didn't see him coming from a mile away." And then says, "That's something I don't understand myself. We were pretty happy together before I got pregnant. He was a helpful, loving husband, very excited about becoming a father." And I really hope that the divorce moves as quickly as possible for OP and they get themselves out of that place, their own place with their child, stick to therapy, and lean on positive support systems that are around them like therapy, not their fucking parents. You know, the comment questioning about how she didn't see him coming, you can sort of get a gist of why when you've grown up with parents like that who's telling you, you know, you should stay with a guy who's cheating on you, your view on relationships has to be distorted. And those parents need to be not just low contact, but completely removed from her life. They are toxic individuals. Imagine telling your child to stay with someone who is cheating on them. Absolute assholes. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? I really do wish you all the best, OP, if you do hear this. And let's crack on with another story. And our next story does come with an update as well from Suspicious Exam 3842 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and says, "Am I the arsehole for telling my husband to choose his PlayStation over our marriage? I, 34 female, have been with my husband, 41 male, for 15 years. I'm married for 11 of those years. We have a 7-year-old together. We have sex maybe once a year since our daughter was born. I'm always the one that has to initiate any type of intimacy. When we do, it's hard to get him to stay up, and there's a lot of work on my end. He's seen a doctor and there's no issues with labs, and he won't take the little blue pill because he says he doesn't need it and doesn't have an issue. My husband has always blamed our lack of intimacy on our daughter since she slept in bed with us. I tried to get him to go into a different room, and there's always some excuse like he's too tired, but then he will get up to our game room and play his video games. Our daughter has slept in her own room for over 6 months now, and nothing has changed. His excuse is still, well, our daughter has slept in bed with us all this time. My husband is a good person and a good dad. He works hard for this family. He works 60 hours a week, but besides paying the bills, that's the extent of it. He says he's tired and tells me I don't understand the stress of having to take care of the family financially. I work 40 hours a week, have a small business, make all of our appointments, do anything related to our daughter. I'm a classroom mum, on PTO, and do all household chores. I do laundry, cleaning, make meals, grocery shopping, take vehicles for oil changes, yard work. I mow and take care of 2.5 acres and take trash cans out. I do pay some of our bills, and I pay for all of our daughter's extracurricular activities, which definitely adds up. He just thinks my load of work contributions does not amount to what he does. This past week I got on his phone because he saves reels on Facebook for me, normally funny stuff and recipes he wants me to try. I saw in his search history all of these sexier girls and groups he's been looking at, which really pushed me over the edge. I wouldn't be mad if he came to me to have sex and I denied him sex. I confronted him about it and he says he doesn't look that stuff up, and I told him I'm not naive and it's clear as day. And the next day he says yeah, he clicks on those girls' profiles and groups because he's a man and likes to look. He's been locking his game room recently while in there and says he's sleeping. I know he's playing his PlayStation, and I guess now he looks at these different profiles. I've seen lotion up there a long time ago while cleaning and asked him about it, and he swears he's not jerking off, but I'm not stupid and naive. I really just hate being lied to. He says I'm a hypocrite because I watch porn, but I wouldn't watch porn and take care of my needs if he would be intimate with me. It's also not like I'm going to a specific person or their profile when I do pull up a video. I've also been honest with him that I masturbate and watch porn. I admit I am a hypocrite, and I guess I'm just hurt, because it just seems it's me. To me, it feels he's not attracted to me or just doesn't seem to want me. He says he doesn't really have a drive, and that's what I had thought, but after seeing what he likes to click on, I just feel he doesn't have a drive towards me. Looks-wise, people telling me definitely leveled up. Overall, I take care of myself and put effort into my looks. I'm definitely not the hottest or most beautiful, but I'm not bad looking. He's overweight, short, and balding. Why do I feel now I don't look good enough for him or excite him enough to be with? I told him I want him to get rid of all the gaming stuff and to not be locked upstairs and to spend more time with me and our family, or it's time for us to divorce. He said he's not giving up his gaming stuff and he doesn't see how that's the problem. He told me that I'm going to ruin our family because all I want is sex. I'm just tired of begging. I feel like I shouldn't be begging for intimacy, affection, and him being present with his family. Do so much for everyone and tired of not getting anything in return. I'm tired of putting my wants and needs last. I'm tired of begging him to hang out with us and do family stuff. The only thing that excites him is to go upstairs in the game room and play his video games. I guess now I know he likes to do other stuff as well. We've done the counselling stuff here and there, and it gets better a bit and then goes back to our normal. So, am I the arsehole and a hypocrite? Am I in the wrong and taking things too far? Edit to add this about our child sleeping in the bed with us. We both allowed her to sleep in the bed with us. I tried to boot her out to her own room sooner, but my husband kept saying she wasn't ready. She'd cry and it was a lot of work and bribery to get her in her own room. Edit in to add another note. There's definitely two sides to every story, and you're just getting mine. We both have different love languages. Mine is affection and physical touch, and his is acts of service. He likes to clean and tidy the house, and I do my best to keep up with everything home-wise. I try talking to him about what makes me happy and what I want, but he's not listening to me. I feel like a spoiled brat at times because yes, he provides financially well for us, and I don't go without. It just sucks. I want to be seen again. We used to be such a team, and it's a pissing contest of who does what. My husband really isn't a bad person or dad. Our daughter is definitely a daddy's girl, mostly because I'm the disciplinary parent. That makes sure she has to brush teeth, schoolwork, and etc. On our days off together, he do things with us, then says he needs to get some rest, and he goes upstairs and video games. He really does work too much. He says he works so much because he wants to make sure we're taken care of if something happens to him, which his dad was never there, and his mum did struggle when he grew up. Battling the Mod says on this one, I know the title insinuates gaming over marriage and family, but this sounds like it runs deeper than that. If it wasn't gaming, it would be golf or something else your husband would use as an escape from his family. It sounds like there is a ton of unresolved issues that have festered for years now. I think trying to establish a line of communication at this point is too late. I can't imagine not having constant communication about my partner's needs. Agree with the others that this relationship may be at an end. Not the arsehole, and good luck. Mysterious Art says not the arsehole, but it sounds like your marriage has run its course. I'm sorry. Opie says, that's how I feel. I've held on because I don't want my daughter to be affected. She doesn't really know anything is going on because I don't say stuff in front of her. Additional Passion says, she probably already notices that her dad is always gone playing video games. Not much will change for her. Sweaty Elephant says, oof, what a name. I mean, I game a lot after the kids go to bed, don't get me wrong. Probably too much if I'm being honest with myself. But I also work full time, cook a ton, clean a ton, spend time with the kids when I get back from work, do chores, do the handyman stuff I'm capable of doing, and have the money for, replacing the hardware in the back of the toilet for instance, take days off work to go to the kids' events sometimes, etc. And I still feel guilty sometimes when I sit down to game at night. If my wife came to me and said you're gaming too much and is making me sad and I want to spend more time with you, I think about what she said and offer some solutions, not just flat out say lol, no, like it sounds like he did. Opie says your comment really stuck out. Sometimes I do get to the point of frustration because I wish she'd just see what needs to be done without me having to nag him. Every year I ask if he can put Christmas lights up and he doesn't do it until I finally snap at him. Christmas lights make me and our daughter happy and he knows it, so why do I need to ask him to do it every single year? My birthday is around Christmas and he doesn't do anything thoughtful. He says it's because he's working and he didn't have time to get anything, but he can make time to game and order stuff for his games on Amazon. I tell him to make a cake with our daughter and have her make a card, take her to Walmart and let her pick something out for me. I want to show my daughter that I matter. I'm sure you saw the TikTok about the wife's stocking and not having anything in it. That's another thing I have to tell him to find time to do for me with our daughter. I just want him to make the time and not have to nag him. I think I'm just tired too. I know gaming is his relaxing and winding down time, but he's not understanding prioritizing his family should be first. Lost Dad Lost Hope says not the arsehole, but have a sleep study done. Sex drive is one of the things to go with apnea, and a CPAP has restored it for a number of people I know. Opie says I work for a pulmonologist and he definitely has sleep apnea. I've been making him go to the doctor. I even have to go with him to make sure he actually keeps appointments. I've even been helping him with weight loss and was hoping 40 pounds down would help with everything. I tried to get him to do a sleep study, but he's not wanting to do one. He has a family history of cardiology issues, and he definitely needs a CPAP so he can be here as long as possible for our daughter. Only so much I can do. So, Opie does come in with her update and says, I'm overwhelmed by the response from my first post and appreciate the feedback. I wasn't expecting to write an update this soon or even at all. Also, I realized as I was blindly rage writing my issues to a bunch of strangers, I didn't write the title properly, so I corrected it in the post update. Yesterday, I messaged my husband the following. Why should we stay together? Just for our daughter. What do you love about me besides being a good mother and wife? What do you like about me? What are things you want from our relationship that you're not getting besides financial? What do you think I contribute to our relationship? Do you really not want sex or a physical relationship? Do you think that's not an issue? I need a physical and intimate relationship. That's something that's important to me. It's more than just sex. Am I not attractive to you? Do you not desire me? Please be honest. Why do you hide the fact that you masturbate? Why can't you see why I'm upset and that my feelings are valid? You think I'm upset over nothing. I feel you take my words as if they are water being poured into a colander. You hold no value to what I say. Why can't you see my pain? You think this is easy on me? Have I thrown too many empty threats to you that you don't take this and what I say seriously? Where can we go from here? Can we work it out? Sometimes my issue is that you can't be honest with me. That there's an issue. I hate when you don't take accountability and place blame elsewhere. We're adults, we make mistakes, and we should take accountability for what we say and do. I know I'm not who I was, and I don't love who I am right now. I don't like nagging, yelling, and begging you for help, attention, and affection. I'll go back and get a better paying job and help more with finances if we decide to move forward. In return, you have to help more with our family. Help worry about finding a sitter for our daughter who's picking her up from school. You'll need to help and call out when she's sick, take off for field trips, help make her lunches, take her to extracurriculars, and help more with daily tasks. He never responded. Instead, I saw where he played over 3 hours on his PlayStation. To me, that speaks volumes. Someone messaged me this link, and it was titled, "You Should Have Asked." That story really resonated with me, and it hit close to home. I'm guessing I'm at the point where I don't want a roommate anymore. I just want a partner that cares and can see the value I bring to our relationship and our family. Many of the original post responses talk about how I just want sex, and that's really not it. I want intimacy and a yearning to feel loved and longed for. I want our relationship to be where we are a team again, and it no longer feels like a pissing contest of who does what. I guess we are past that point of working things out. Now my concern is how to make this an easy transition for my daughter. I will continue to put a smile on my face and hold back my pain, because as a parent, how she feels and what she sees comes first. I don't want her to feel blame or to be sad. I know it won't be easy, but thank you strangers for your advice, even when some of it stung a little. As I've said, I know it's hard to have an opinion when you're only getting one side. I'm not an angel in any of this, and take accountability for my parts for ending this chapter. I guess it's time to move on. A day later, OP adds a smaller update in the comments and says, this was his response a day later. OP, if I don't make you happy, then I don't want to force something that's not going to make you happy. I'm fine with what you want to do. I do love you, and I shouldn't have to prove that after being together for 14 years. We can go our ways. I will financially support you and Landry to the best of my ability. I only have a few requests. That wherever you decide to move, please stay within 30 miles of each other so I can see Landry and I can help better. I can pay your mortgage on a $250K house if you put $100K down, and will of course pay for whatever Landry needs. When we sell the house, I want $100K and you can have everything else. I need you to pay the Tesla off. I owe $33K. We need to at least get $600K for our home, if not more. I hate that it's come down to this, but will help you achieve happiness as long as we can agree on some terms with our child and finances. Gee whiz, that felt like a very, very cold response, and one that's already been thought about in the past, like he's already checked out of this relationship. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Drink some water, brush my teeth.